everybody, it's Abigail Ockwell here and welcome back to another WIP and Chat. Now, if you're new, WIP stands for Work in Progress. I am working on my Flight of the Fireflies by Randall Spangler and Diamond Art Club. This is currently the kit I'm working on during an event called Dragalings and Books. So yeah, I will put the link to the hashtag for Instagram down below, as the group is actually a private one, so you do have to have entered into that. And like I say, I'm not sure if you can enter it now. I have a feeling it's closed. But anyway, so how's everybody doing? I hope you're all having a really great day. Because, I mean, hell, I know that I definitely am. But I will get onto that. Basically, yeah, I'll get onto that at the end of the video, because that will be my last story. So, it is Thursday, and well, we'll start off with a quick Ethan report. He did have his surgery last week. He is now at home and fully recovering. So that's a bit of good news, basically. For those of you who don't know, Ethan is my future brother-in-law. Well, one of them. I've got two, but yeah, the other one is a little bit of a misfit. But yeah, we're not gonna talk about that. So yeah, we will get into it. So the weekend at work, it was very uneventful. You know, nothing happened. Well, nothing much really happened. It was just, yeah, just a really quiet weekend. It's been really hot and really muggy all week. So, because of the weather, people haven't really been wanting to come to the cinema. Like, I mean, when I'm recording it was really sunny earlier, but now that the sun's gone, it's just got really muggy. So yeah, it has been unbelievably quiet. But I mean, the cinema was dead on Sunday because of Euros, which of course, England versus Italy, and of course, like always, England lost due to penalties. You know, hell, that's nothing new. Everyone was like, it's coming home, and of course, what happens? Penalties! Woohoo! How we love them. How we love them. But no, from the looks of the team, it looks like they're going to be a really strong team. And it's going to be interesting just to see, you know, what happens in the World Cup next year. But yeah, no, the whole thing with the World Cup is there was a lot of racial abuse, oh my gosh, like hurled towards 3 of the players for missing penalties. However, the 3 that missed their penalties, they were young. They were young players and they didn't deserve that. So yeah, it's just such a shame, and it's really sad that we're still going through racism and stuff. And that people think just because the colour of their skin is different to another person, they think that, you know, they're more entitled to things than other people are. And it's just really sad. But yeah, I'm just glad that the players are just like, you know, what, you know, you guys can say what you like, but, you know, it just makes us stronger. The hate makes us stronger. And yeah, that was that. Yeah, that was basically the weekend. It just, nothing's really happening just because of the Euros. It was a very quiet Sunday. It was really funny though, because me and Josh were closing on that Sunday, and we were closing the same area together, which was quite nice because we rarely have shifts together, and usually we're on different areas when we are on similar shifts. But we were waiting for our taxi, which is absolutely hilarious, and they were, and like mum, teenage daughter, and came to pick up, I think it was like their son, and you know, like, you know, general sister argument of who gets to sit in the front on the way back. And, you know, the sister was like going, I should be the one that sits in the front both ways. I'm the emotional one. England lost. And it's like, oh my gosh, it's just a bloody game. It's just football. But I mean, I do have to say, like, watching part of the game in my 15-minute break, that was quite tense. I do have to say that it was very tense. Just watching that, I think that was probably the worst 15-minute break I've ever had, because obviously, you know, we were watching England. I think it was extra time off the top of my head. I'm pretty sure it was extra time. That we were watching. Yeah. Excuse me. I've got a bit of a sore throat at the moment, so yeah. But no, watching extra time, and you know, there were a few times that, you know, we nearly scored, but yeah, I do agree with what people were saying, that Italy did play dirty during like the second half. But anyway, I'm gonna shut up about that, because I know there's probably going to be that one person is going to hear what I've said and they're going to completely disagree, and then I'm going to get a whole load of hate and comments. So yeah, that was the weekend. So yeah, and I mean, the fact that, you know, we hadn't closed made it quite fun. However, the last sort of, I want to say, when we were waiting for the last game to come out, that was so boring. It was so freaking boring. But no, it was like, when we were going to work, the energy and the atmosphere was just so pumped. And then when we kind of got out after the whole game, it was just dead quiet. Like, you couldn't even tell that the Euro Cup final had even happened. But hey, we got second, so that's good. In my book, that's good. And well done to Italy. So, right, next day, obviously, had horse riding. Always do horse riding every Monday, as we know. And yeah, just because of the clothes and how tired I was, I I basically just really wanted to do a theory lesson. I was like, I can't be bothered to do anything more than a theory lesson. So basically, my lesson on Monday was just tack cleaning and going through some things. Tack cleaning was actually really fun. So I had to identify parts of a bridle, parts of a saddle, and also show how to clean them. So yeah, I did those pretty well. I had Buzz. It was, if it had been Twix, it was like on the way up I said to myself, right, if it's Twix I'll ride, if it's Buzz I won't, because you know he can be a little bit stubborn. And I mean it, he really can be a bit stubborn. He's just like, you know, especially if he's had a hard weekend, he's just so hard to get going. And you know, with closing the previous night, I just really couldn't be bothered to deal with it. So yeah, I just said, yeah, is it okay if we do a theory lesson? And Sally was like, oh yeah, sure. So we just did some of the theory stuff for my bronze awards, and then we did what else did we do? I'm trying to remember what else we did. So we went through our quick release knot. So at Lavin, where I ride, they always do like a quick release knot, and they always tie it to a piece of string. So that way, if say something really scary to them does happen, so say there's a bang on the stall, they can just lift up and yeah, go. They can just break that bit of string, and yeah, then they're free. So yeah, I say it was just really tack cleaning, going through the difference between hay and haylage. So hay is like the dried like hay, and then haylage is basically fermented hay. And some horses do have to have haylage because of respiratory difficulties. I know I've mentioned Leah in the past. I'll put a picture of him right here because there is an image of me on his back. I'll try and crop myself out. Leah, and he's a boy. Lear is a boy, so think King Lear from Shakespeare if you're familiar with like Hamlet, or he actually has asthma. Lear has asthma, so he has to have haylage so that it doesn't it doesn't irritate his asthma so much. Which, I mean, you know, I'd be the same. If I was Leah, I'd be like, just give me anything that won't irritate my asthma. I just feel quite relieved that I haven't got hay fever as well, because I know some people that have asthma, like they have a hay fever. It's just, it can be really like a bit of a nightmare for them, because yeah, they just it's just like, you know, the asthma gets worse and they're just finding it really hard to breathe. I just feel so relieved that I do not have hay fever. You know, I get a little bit of a runny nose and stuff when I'm near freshly cut grass, but yeah, I don't have hay fever as such. So that's, that is positive. My lungs haven't completely said that they hate me. But yeah, most of the times my lungs hate me, especially in this really muggy, humid weather. My lungs are like, ugh. And because I've got my sunflower card, I don't have to wear a mask. So yeah, when it all gets too much for me, I'm finding it hard to breathe and everything, that's when I'm like, haha. I'll just put my mask down below my chin just so I can breathe. So yeah, it's easy for me to just pop it back up, and if say I get over it. But normally what happens is is when I put it down, I know I'm not going to be able to put it up, because I have tried that in the past, and yeah, I just find it hard to breathe, especially when it's muggy, and the fact that we're all wearing masks at the moment, I just find it really, really, really hard to just keep the mask on. But thankfully, as of Monday, the whole mask thing should hopefully be lifted. Social distancing will effectively be abolished. But for us as a team, excuse me. Oh, excuse me. For us as team, we will effectively be abiding to the same rules that we had. It's effectively there. They are advising that we, the team members, still wear masks. I probably won't be so much. I'll have it on hand in case I need it, but yeah, I'm probably really not going to be wearing my mask that much anymore. But yeah, I'm still going to definitely use my medical exemption thing on like public transport and things, because probably some places are going to be saying please wear masks still, which I can completely understand, and I think that's very sensible. But yeah, I will be still trying to avoid the virus and other things as well. So yeah, that's this week. Oh god, I should just think. Yeah, it makes me think, because of how many people that got the sunflower lanyards to say they are medically exempt when they're actually not. They just don't want to wear a mask. I wonder how many of those people are gonna suddenly, those things are gonna disappear, because a majority of people, they do have a genuine reason to have them, but it's like the people that don't want to wear a mask, and like familiar faces that you see wearing a mask, well, having the lanyard around them so that it says what's wrong with them and why they're not wearing a mask. I have a card that says I am exempt, and I also have other things on my card. So I'm giving them a legitimate reason. I'm giving them something to look at if, say, they're not sure. I don't mind if people want to come up and ask me why am I not wearing a mask. Asthma is why I'm not wearing a mask. But yeah, I just, the amount of people that are probably gonna suddenly ditch those lanyards, I think is gonna be interesting, because we all know there are going to be those few that just got the lanyard for no reason, other than to say, hey, I'm exempt. But most people that you see with the lanyard, they'll have a card with them that will explain like why they can't wear a mask. So if say they're on the autistic spectrum and they can't wear a mask, if severe anxiety is a thing, asthma, COPD, etc., that is a reason to why, you know, people can't wear masks. And most people, like I say, they will usually have a card to say, you know, I am exempt. But the amount of people that you just see going around with just the lanyard and they're saying, I'm exempt, you think, are you actually exempt, or are you just one of those people that just doesn't want to wear a mask? You know, just saying. But yeah, so that's going to be a thing as of Monday. No masks, no social distancing, la 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 la. So most likely infection rate is going to spike. We did have a little bit of a scare though in the weekend. So at the cinema where I work, there is a trampoline park there, and yeah, they've had to close because one of their customers, I think a few days later, tested positive for COVID. And so obviously loads of people that have been in the place that day got a thing to say, to, you know, advise them to self-isolate, etc., etc. And it's the panic that we had was, it was like, oh my gosh, are we now going to have to close down for like 10 days because of this person? Because at that point, we didn't know if, say, this person had come into... We didn't know if this person had come into the cinema and, you know, possibly exposed quite a few of us. So it's kind of, we were all worrying about that when we heard about the trampoline park. We were all kind of a bit like, oh my gosh, okay, we're gonna have to shut for 10 days. But thankfully nothing came of it. So yeah, we haven't heard anything either. So yeah, basically we are not, we didn't have to thingy-majiggy, we did not have to close for 10 days, thank God. I mean, honestly, it's like, I reckon if we closed, if our site closed, the company would just be like, yeah, we can't afford this. But I mean, I won't be surprised if other sites of the same company have had to close for a couple of days due to the pandemic. But yeah, no, I just was like, okay. So yeah, I feel quite relieved that my phone didn't go off to say I'd been in contact with someone that had COVID. No, that was a big relief. No, to kind of not have to close or go through like quarantine and get tested to see if I had COVID, because obviously if mine came back COVID, you know, it wouldn't be as lethal to me because I obviously have had the first injection, and it's, you know, but it's still kind of one of those worries at the back of your mind. So I've had this sore throat since Tuesday, and it's just It's not COVID, don't worry. It's not the Rona. It's not the Rona. It is honestly just really bad, tickly sore throat. It's not a dry cough or anything. It's just really, ugh. And I've been drinking plenty, keeping my throat hydrated, etc., etc. I've been doing everything that you're meant to do. Yeah, I've just basically been keeping an eye on it. So, Tuesday, as well as me being off, it was a date night for me and Josh, which was really nice. We went to go and see Black Widow. Don't worry, I'm not going to give any spoilers away if you haven't seen it, but I do have to say it is very, very, very good. I mean, I knew it was going to be good, but I didn't know it was going to be as good as it was. You know, I have been waiting for a standalone Black Widow film for years. And I mean, I really have been. And so it was kind of, it's just like finally getting to go see it. I've been really lucky and managed to avoid spoilers. So yeah, I thankfully didn't have the thing. I didn't have anything ruined for me. Josh, however, that day did walk into a massive spoiler when he was doing screen checks. Yeah, no, I didn't walk into any massive spoilers. The one that he walked into, I like ran out of the screen because I'd done a screen check and it was just about to happen. And yeah, I ran out like it was nobody's business when I was doing screen checks. You know, I don't mind sort of like beginning things and stuff getting spoiled for me, but yeah, I managed to avoid quite a few spoilers, which was really good. But no, it was a really nice film. I did to get 2 large Pepsis. So first, obviously, with my popcorn, and then partway through the film, when I needed a drink, I had to go and get another one because my throat was just like, bleh. Yeah, I'd had like some sort of like bits of a sore throat the day before, but that was only in the evening. So I thought, I'll be on tomorrow, and I just woke up and I was just like, ugh. But no, Josh was sore throaty as well, but his went away. Mine still hasn't. I mean, the whole thing with these like chest infections and anything to effectively do with my respiratory system is basically, it's going to take a lot longer than your average person for me to get rid of it. But no, I was like freaking out about it because I was like, oh my gosh, you know, because of the whole pandemic, they're being really, really, really strict on your tests, on driving tests, etc. And if you've even got so much of a headache, some of them will be like, yeah, no, we're not taking you today. We'll rebook you in for another day and another time. So yeah, I basically was like, no matter what, I'm taking my test. But like I say, I'll get into that later. I'll get into my driving test later. Yeah, so yeah. But no, when we were going into the screen and queuing for snacks and stuff, there was a really entitled guy that was like, so we were in the queue and stuff, and this guy and his missus, I think it was his missus, they grabbed bag Maltesers, and you know, instead of kind of like, you know, waiting for you know, joining a queue, they kind of pushed in front of us. And so we had quite a few new people starting, and they were like, yeah. And because one of the tills, the till that they went up to was cash only. And so she was like, oh, if you don't have, you know, just saying, oh, I'm really sorry, but if you don't, this is cash only. Yeah, if you don't have cash, you're gonna have to queue up behind these people. And they were just like, oh, okay, fine. So then they got into the queue and we were waiting to order, and I kid you not, no social distancing or anything. They went right, and I mean right behind us, to the point you could like feel their breath. It was, well, it was mainly the guy, but it was the most annoying thing. And I mean, you know, I have a thing on my lanyard that asks people not to get too close because of my borderline personality disorder. You know, say if I am in a really bad situation, for all they know, I could swing out and hit them. And I was kind of getting to that point that it was, because when I'm in those moods, I won't talk to someone. I won't talk to the person and say, can you please like stand back? It will be clenched fist, stand back. And then if you don't stand back, that's when you're gonna get these hands on you people. So it's, yeah, Josh, I think, had noticed that I was getting a little bit, you know, agitated, and he just turned to the guy and said, oh, can you stand back please, social distancing. And the guy kind of like rolled his eyes like, oh, fine. Look, I get we all want this pandemic to be over, of course we do, but if there are still guidelines in place, you know, don't be an idiot and go against them. You know, if you get a COVID, then okay. But yeah, no. So yeah, we ordered and we stood to the side just so they could, the people that were serving us, they could, you know, they could get our order ready, etc. I think it's kind of because I talked them through how to do my my staff cinema pass. Yes, we have staff cinema passes at where I work. It's great. So we get to see free films when we have time. I will stress that bit. When we have time. You know, usually we're too busy to be like watching films, etc. So most of the time, we won't be watching. You won't watch a film, but if it's one you really want to see, then of course you're going to make an exception and go see it. Like was the case with Black Widow. And yeah, I just thought that was really great. Just seeing that, it was just so fun, and love it. Love it, love it, love it. But yeah, no, like I was saying, this guy, straight after we got to the side so that they could get our stuff ready and give us the stuff on the side of the counter, the guy marches up and starts tapping his fingers, and then he starts tapping his fingers on the bags, like, as in, hurry up. And then he goes up to one of our colleagues, and he's basically demanding that she serves them. However, we're not allowed to share tills, so because she was helping another new person with our order, you know, she was like, oh, I'm really sorry, but I'm afraid I can't do that. That isn't my till. And he said, you know, you're just going to have to be patient. And then he tried to get the other person to serve him, and she was like, I'm serving these other customers at the moment. You're going to have to wait. And I kid you not, he just looked so frustrated that he had to wait. Seriously, it was like, oh my gosh, it was like 30 seconds, and he was going into the same film we were, into the same screen that we were, and it was like, you know, you're not going to miss anything, because it was still in ads and trailers. So then we get into the screen. We're sat right at the back because it's a nice place to sit at the back and you get the full screen. But it was, yeah, they were this couple, you know, the couple with the guy with the Maltesers, the entitled guy with the Maltesers. Obviously he did eventually get served, but I don't get why he went through that whole exercise of trying to horse people. I was probably doing the whole classic of, oh, we're going to miss our film otherwise, and it's like, not my problem. Because that's honestly my reaction when people are like, oh, hurry up, I'm going to miss my film. I'm like, yeah, that's not my problem. You should have like left in plenty of time. But yeah, no, he was in the same screen that we were. And oh my gosh, this guy kept getting up and moving around to the point that, you know, I was kind of thinking, has he got a camera? I thought maybe he was trying to pirate the film. So yeah, or that they were gonna go and complain about the volume of the screen, because yeah, we do have one of those really big screens that you know, is a lot more expensive from a company in Canada. And so yeah, basically if that screen goes wrong, that's a very expensive call for Canada. And I'm sure the technicians love being called up at 5 a.m. their time. But yeah, no, they were just like moving around and everything, and it was just like, oh God, just put your butts down. But no, at one point near the beginning of the film, I thought they were going to go and complain about the loudness of the screen. I really did. It just was like, oh God. I mean, even Josh was like rolling his eyes with this couple, because it was just, grr. But they did survive the whole film. They did actually watch the whole film. Because when we were leaving, because we'd already seen the post-credit scene for Black Widow. I will say, if you haven't seen it, the post-credit scene is predictable, but it ties in really well. And yeah, they were still there to watch the post-credit scene, which I think both me and Josh were really kind of shocked that they had survived the whole film. But yeah, so that was a thing. But yeah, no, date night was very fun. Also, my friend Robin, she still hasn't had the baby, but she's getting induced next week. So yeah, little baby Dexter will be born very soon, which is great, and I can't wait to have cuddles with him. So yeah, but no, yesterday I had a really weird shift. I was 6 till 10, not 6 till close, which was, you know, if I'd been closing last night, I'd have probably swapped my shift just because of my driving test today. And I still had my sore throat, and I was like going back, and I was drinking plenty yesterday. And also on my 15, I did have some ice cream. I've been with this weather, the ice cream is really helpful. It's really good because it opens up my lungs a bit more. It just opens everything up, and it's nice and cold, so it like relaxes everything. I know it sounds really weird, but it does. And yeah, it's been really nice just having an ice cream either on my 15 or just before work. And yeah, so yeah, but no, I had everyone like wishing me luck yesterday. So should probably go into my driving test. I passed with three minors. But no, I was really nervous like last night, and I mean, I was like, I could feel my heart beating yesterday. I was just really, really, really nervous, and I was like, I just want it to be tomorrow. I just want to do my test. I just want to get it over and done with. And yeah. So here's an image of me with my pass certificate. And yeah, I like woke up this morning. I had a whole plan in my mind. So I was going to take my antipsychotic at 7 this morning, which I did. Ooh, that's not a complete drill. There we go. Which I did. Then I went back to sleep until like 10:30. No, not 10:30. I went back to sleep until 10. Sorry. And then my instructor came at 11:45, so about an hour before my test. And in that lesson we just did like maneuvers and stuff. And it's kind of, he came to the door. PJ, he opened the door and he was like talking, but I'd gone upstairs with everything in my hand that I was taking, and I just thought as a joke, I'm gonna grab my cat Midnight, who is my lucky black cat. I think without her I wouldn't have passed today. So I came downstairs with everything, and it's like, you got everything? I like, yeah, I've got my drink, I've got my sweets, I've got my cat, got my lucky black cat. But yeah, she stayed for a while in my arms for a while while we talked. And then she decided to launch herself off my right boob. So I have a rather lovely scratch across my boob. It did bleed a little bit, but I was like, oh gosh, okay. But yeah, so she scratched me with a little bit of her luck. She gave me some black cat luck. But it was so funny because when she bolted out the front door and past my instructor James. Like, honestly, it was the most hilarious thing. He was like, oh, maybe she does want to come with us. But obviously there was no way I could take her, because she'd think that I would be taking her to the vet. I nearly spelled out the word because I thought she was in here, but then I remembered she's downstairs. So yeah. But no, they say I had 3 faults, 3 minors, which was 2 hesitation at a roundabout, and then the first one was improper use of a signal, which was, that was okay. I would rather have hesitation at a roundabout than not. And I know one bit where there was an improper use of a signal. But yeah, I actually had a really good test before the our lesson just before. I kid you not, my legs were shaking. I was so nervous. Like, I was really scared. Like, oh my gosh, I was so I can't even describe how nervous I was. But I rarely get that nervous that I get my whole body starts shaking. And, you know, James said to me that he thought that might go against me. And that was the most stressful exam that I've ever done. I kid you not. But yeah, like I say, I passed. There was one bit where it's like you've got a junction, there's a stop sign. And so obviously you stop, but there were temporary lights. So it's obviously the other two were, you know, they were thingy-majiggied. There obviously wasn't any traffic going, and the examiner just went, there are lights, you don't need to stop. And I was like, oh my god, okay, sorry. But I was kind of just treating it like how you normally would. So the fact he kind of had a little pop at me for that, I was like, okay. And so obviously I was on edge the rest of the day, but well, the rest of the thing, because it's like my first half hour he did with the sat nav. I hate sat navs. Like, I hate it when they talk, because they're like, at this, in 200 yards, turn right. And then it's kind of, when you're a few yards away, it's like, turn right. And you're like, we're not even there yet. And he was like talking about, you know, I asked him about the sat nav, because I said, I hate sat navs. You know, I will just be like, nope. And he was like saying that he would often tell the sat nav off, saying, that's not a roundabout, that's a junction, or a thing rounder. You know, when you have like those roundabouts that are basically an island of offices in the middle of a road. I don't get why that's a thing. And it's classed as a roundabout. And he's like, that's not a roundabout, it's da-da-da. Because at first he was like, oh, I don't think I should say the language that I use for sat nav. And I said, oh, it's okay, I'm 26 this year, it's fine. And I was like, oh, okay, that's all right. I just tell it to shut up. We're not there yet. Which he found quite amusing. Yeah. And so he was really good. And yeah, I just really went for it. I was just like, I felt like I had something to prove to myself. I really did. And yeah, I just went out, did my best, and yeah, I passed. But I mean, the excitement in the household when I came back, because obviously that was my first time taking my test, because I was meant to take it 2 years ago in July, and obviously, and well, no, it wasn't COVID, it was the examiner was ill, so I couldn't take it. And then they rebooked me in for another thing, which of course, then COVID happened. So I was kind of like, oh my gosh, this is kind of like a one shot for me, because my thing runs out in December. And yeah, and I was just like thinking, oh my God, okay, let's try and do this. But I wasn't going to put pressure on myself, but I just went through every scenario in my head. The show me tell me questions, they were so easy, it was almost comical. So he just asked me how, if I was alone, I would check the thingy-majiggy, the indicators, and I just, explained how I do that. And then my show me question he did the windscreen wash, like how I'd work that. Which I thought, oh flipping hell. And then my manoeuvre was the most easiest one of the lot. It was parking up on the right hand side and then reversing back 2 car lengths. But James thinks the reason that he got me to do that was because he'd had a student that examiner that I'd had failed because they didn't look around and observe. With that manoeuvre, it really is all about your observation. And I mean, I was like observing like hell. I was trying to give away as few marks as possible. You know, I was like, in my mind, I'm like, I am not giving this guy a reason to fail me. You know, this guy is not failing me. It is not a thing. And so, yeah. I just went really positive. I didn't take my phone or anything. I just had a drink. And I just was like, let's do this. When we came back to the test centre, I accidentally went onto the right-hand side rather than the left. Whoops. So I thought, oh no, I've just blown it. I hadn't. But yeah, if there had been another car coming that way, then that probably would have been a fail. But yeah, because I did that, I also did that mistake on the way to the test centre, but God, no, even James was like, before my test, he said, I've never seen you that nervous in my life. I've seen you nervous, but not like that to the point your whole body was just shaking. And like I say, it's very unusual for me to get as nervous as I was like that before the test. Very, very unusual. But yeah, so I was so happy when I passed that. I was just like, oh, thank God. Like, I've just been so happy and so bubbly all day. You know, I have started looking for a car. Can't lie, I have started looking for a car. And yeah, so onwards and upwards. But no, my phone has been blowing up all day on Facebook, particularly, like going, congratulations, and I'm just so happy that it's all gone to plan and that everything's all good. But I'm trying to think, is there anything else I need to talk to you about? No, I think that's it. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, please like, possibly comment, and if you're not, hit that subscribe button. But yeah, that's it for me, and I will see you all later. Bye!